in daily life you can often step away from disrespect. At work, you don't always have that option. The meeting continues. The project continues. The people remain the same. And in those moments, the real challenge is not what they say, it's what happens inside you. The tightening in your chest, the urge to defend yourself, the impulse to react quickly, sharply, emotionally. Stoicism is not about pretending you don't feel that. It's about creating space before it takes control. Today, we're not talking about winning arguments or crafting the perfect comeback. We're talking about how to remain composed, dignified, and steady when workplace conflict gives you no easy exit. At work, conflict doesn't just feel personal. It feels entangled. Your role, your reputation, your livelihood. A careless comment in a meeting can linger for hours. A subtle dismissal can replay in your mind long after the day ends. Not because you're weak, but because the stakes feel real. When your identity, status, or security feel threatened, the body reacts before the mind has time to choose. That reaction is not a failure of character. It's a signal that something feels at risk and that your nervous system is moving to protect you. And before we can respond wisely to conflict, we first have to understand why that reaction appears at all. The Stoics never asked you to eliminate emotion. They asked you to notice it before it decides your behavior. Between what happens and how you respond, there is a brief space, often only a few seconds. That space is where dignity lives, not in the perfect reply, not in proving a point, but in choosing not to let the first impulse speak for you. In meetings, this pause may be silent. In conversations, it may feel uncomfortable. But this is where Stoicism quietly begins to work, not by controlling others, but by helping you reclaim a calm command over yourself. In a workplace setting, the Stoic pause is rarely dramatic. It might be a breath you take before responding in a meeting, a moment of silence when a comment feels dismissive, or choosing to listen fully instead of preparing your defense. This pause does not weaken your position. It strengthens it, because it keeps your response aligned with who you are, not with how the moment tries to provoke you. Stoics observe that reactions belong to habit, but responses belong to character. And over time, people begin to sense the difference. Not because you speak more, but because you speak less, and with intention. In moments of conflict, it's easy to confuse dignity with ego. Ego demands recognition. It needs to correct, to defend, to be seen as right. Dignity asks something different. Dignity is not loud. It doesn't rush to respond. It doesn't need to win the moment in order to keep its balance. The Stoics taught that self-respect is internal. It is not granted by colleagues, titles, or approval. And when your sense of worth comes from within, disrespect loses much of its power. Not because it disappears, but because it no longer decides who you are. In the workplace, silence is often misunderstood. It's mistaken for weakness, or avoidance, or a lack of confidence. But the Stoics viewed silence differently. Silence can be a deliberate choice, not an absence of response, but a refusal to be pulled into unnecessary conflict. When a remark is meant to provoke, responding immediately often feeds it. Silence, when chosen consciously, preserves your composure and your energy. This is not about ignoring real issues. It's about knowing which moments truly deserve your voice and which do not. There are moments at work when silence is not the right choice. A misunderstanding needs correction. A boundary needs to be clarified, or a pattern needs to be named calmly. The Stoic approach here is not confrontation, it is clarity. Speaking only what is necessary, without accusation, without emotional charge. You are not explaining yourself to be accepted. You are stating what matters so the work can continue cleanly. This kind of speech feels restrained, even understated. But it carries weight because it comes from composure, not from reaction. The Stoics never promised a life without conflict. They promised a way to become steadier because of it. In this tradition, difficult people were not seen as obstacles, they were seen as training partners. Each interaction revealed where patience was thin, where pride still waited to react. This does not excuse poor behavior, but it reframes its place in your life. Instead of asking, "Why does this keep happening to me?" the Stoic asks, "What part of my character is being tested here?" Over time, this shift changes everything. Conflict becomes less personal and composure becomes more natural. For many people, the workday ends, but the conflict does not. Conversations replay. Words are rewritten. Responses are rehearsed long after they're needed. The Stoics warned against this habit, not because reflection is wrong, but because endless replay steals the present moment. A Stoic close to the day is deliberate. You acknowledge what happened. You note where you held composure and where you did not. Then, you let the scene rest. Carrying conflict into the evening does not protect you. It only keeps you tied to it. Workplace conflict will never disappear completely. But how much of it you carry with you is a choice that can be practiced. The Stoic path is not about being untouched. It's about being less shaken each time, responding with clarity, holding dignity over ego, letting the day end when it ends. This kind of steadiness isn't loud. It often goes unnoticed by others, but it changes your experience of work entirely. If you're learning to create more space between trigger and reaction in your work life, this is the kind of practice you don't have to walk alone.